Welcome. Today, we want to talk about something we both have a lot of experience with,
Yes.
how to tell your boss you're pregnant.
Yes.
And this should be an easy and happy conversation, but it really is because you're nervous, your boss is probably surprised,
Yeah.
and neither one of you is really prepared to discuss the elephant in the room, which is like, oh God, now what?
Yeah. Like, how do I even tackle
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
And so it's really good to have a little bit of a script to
Mhm.
follow. So that's what we're going to do here
Yeah.
for you today. So you're going to follow these 5 steps. So the first one is to reaffirm. So you want to remind your manager that you are committed to being a high performing employee. That doesn't just get wiped away.
That's right.
So talk.
So I think you go in, first of all, you want to schedule this meeting. This is not something you want to
Right.
do on the fly. Schedule the meeting and sit down and just start with talking about maybe a project that's going well, a status update. Remind your manager how well you have been performing and how committed you are. And that's just kind of reaffirming yourself or reestablishing yourself as, okay, she's a really good employee. It kind of sets the right tone for the meeting.
Yeah. And in setting the tone, you also want to direct it. So the next thing is to reveal. So this is where you're gonna come
Yeah.
clean about what's happening. But the way you deliver it I think
Yes.
is really important. And the way that you tell
Yes.
your boss that
Yeah.
you are planning to take this leave
Right.
is really strategic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell them that you're planning, that you're already in the process of making some strategic and maybe staffing modifications for later in the year because you'll be having a baby. And that's the way you say it. It's not I'm pregnant, I'm sorry. It's just I'm working on these things because I'll be having a baby. And you can say it with a smile because it really is joyful news.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I wish I so had this when I
I
told
know.
my boss.
We were both
Mine
disasters when
mine
we did
went
the
like
first time.
Crash and burn.
Yeah.
Crash and burn. Okay, the next one is to relate. You want to use empathy here
Mhm.
because there is a change that's happening. You have just set off an apple cart shaking moment, right?
Exactly. And just imagine if you haven't been a manager yourself, just imagine maybe as a caregiver that the nanny comes and tells you, I'm leaving and I'm moving to Italy.
Right.
Even though you're happy for her, it's a big, I don't say
Shift.
disappointment, but it's a
Yes.
shift
It's a shift.
and it's frightening. It's
Yes.
scary. How the
Well,
heck am I going to get it done?
We've just opened up the door that there is a transition that's going to happen, and everybody gets a little off kilter when transition steps into the room.
And so you show empathy first by, of course, your boss is going to congratulate you. So, express gratitude over that. You want, and allow yourself to be happy for a moment. And then just dial it back and remind your manager that this is going to be something that it's going to be a challenge.
Right.
It's going to be a challenge for you. It's going to be a challenge for me. It's going to be a challenge for the team.
Yes.
Right? Let them know that you are kind
Get
of
it.
in the boat with them.
You get it.
Mhm.
Because then the next step you're
Yeah.
going to do is reassure them. You're going to reassure them that you've already begun to assemble the coverage plan.
Right. And that's the biggest issue your boss is going to have. It's coverage. We have to really think about this strategically as women, I think,
Yep.
because we are the ones that take leaves
Right.
just based on biology.
Yep.
And men can take them as well, but we really don't have a choice. We have to take them. And so there's this problem sometimes where the burden is, where it becomes very burdensome
Yeah.
on our teammates, particularly those who don't have children. Because they're expected to take
Yeah.
on the extra work. The bosses felt like they're kind of in a bad situation. The client,
Right.
particularly for client-facing external roles, they're kind of left high and dry. So the minute that you reassure your boss by saying, I just want to let you know, Kelly, I've already started putting things in the works for how this is going to. I'll give you a couple of ideas. One is, the project that we have with ABC company, we can extend that deadline. They're not even ready for us to install. So I think we have a little more time there. I think John, our newer hire, I think we can develop him. I think I've been mentoring him a little informally. I would like to kind of formalize that and kind of get him ready to take on a little bigger role with the client, whatever it is. But just even letting them know, not that you've made every decision because you want them to be part of it,
Right.
but let them know that you've already thought about this. You've already anticipated
Yes.
the challenges and you're on it.
And the other thing is it's an opportunity to showcase what a leader you are.
Yes.
What a strategic
Exactly.
thinker you are. You are showcasing what an awesome employee you truly are
Exactly.
by doing this, by
Exactly.
taking command. So, it can get a little dicey.
Yeah.
Mine got very dicey
Yeah.
when I think back to it
I
now.
did mine.
So you're
Yeah.
going to want to redirect when
Yes.
these moments happen. So talk a little bit
So
about
we
how can
teach
do that.
this in our course and in some of our videos about acknowledge and pivot. When questions become more personal and more
Right.
centered on you outside of work, you can acknowledge whatever that particular comment is, but then you want to pivot back to work. So the
Right.
same thing here. If it starts getting into the weeds, oh my gosh, can I see the pictures? This is, do you have any names picked? What are you thinking? Blah, blah, blah. How much time do you want to take off? Which all you're going to say is, answer the question. If it's how much time you're going to take off, plan on taking the standard maternity leave. Because at that moment, that's probably what you are planning.
Right.
You may extend it, you may not. You don't know, and we can both tell you, you really don't know.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your first, you just don't know. So keep that open. But then
especially if it's your third.
It's right.
Like, really?
Often it's the third that tips the apple cart, right? But what you want to do then is redirect the conversation. So it might you just don't want to get into the weeds about personal. So to role play, if you start asking me questions about, have you done the ultrasound? Have you picked the baby's room? Yeah, we're kind of in it. But, right now I'm really focused on just staying where I am. I love my work.
Are you sick? Are you feeling
I know,
sick?
I actually feel pretty good. I was a little tired, but I'm kind of over that hump. And I've been, got a ton of energy. That's one of the signs, the hallmarks of second trimester. So I'm just really using that energy now to make sure I'm always bringing it back to the business to make sure the plan is going well, to make sure the client is happy.
Yes. And
almost to the point of overkill, which is okay.
Well, and I think the big place where you can get tripped up here is to overtalk.
Yes.
To then all of a sudden you are either apologizing or you are feeling bad or you're sharing far too much information. Right. That information, especially with something so precious as this in your life, is reserved for the people that you love and care about the most. That's reserved.
And who love and care about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is not that your boss doesn't care about you, but this is the place and space to be talking business, right? You're talking business and talking from a professional mindset. Yeah. So the last one is to revisit. You don't want to just call it one conversation and you're done.
That's right.
This is an ongoing thing.
Right. Really for the remainder of those 6 months or far along you are. So when you end that meeting, my recommendation always is schedule the next one and maybe set a cadence for meetings up until your due date. And the whole purpose of those meetings is check in, getting their feedback and input on your coverage plan, deciding when is the right time to tell the rest of the team. Right. Please be sure that you're not announcing this on Facebook. No. Before you've told your boss. You do not want your boss to find out on Facebook. Yes. You don't want your boss to find out from one of your colleagues or someone who works for you. Right. They should have the place to be the first person who's told. Yeah. Now, the minute you tell them, you can then go tell whoever you want. Right. But you may want to decide between you and your manager, when's the right time to tell the rest of the team? Yeah. Right? So these are ongoing conversations. This is one of many meetings that's coming. And as soon as that meeting's over, you're just going back to work and showing your stuff.
Doing your thing. Yeah. And again, we just want to say, you don't want to apologize for this. This is a beautiful time in your life. You don't want to cry and, fall apart. That's reserved for the people that, again, love and care for you the most. And only one thank you. Right? You're not going to thank them 1,000 times in this conversation.
Well, I mean, if you really want to think of it on a cellular level or granular level, we need people like you having babies, right?
Yes,
we need our hardworking, well-prepared people to have children to sustain us. We're going to need in our old age, the surgeon who heals us and the soldier who defends us and the lawyer who defends us. Hopefully not. But I mean, when we have children, we are doing what we need to do to populate the world, to continue our species. So you don't need to thank a gazillion times. If they give you a nice congratulations or send you flowers, one thank you is enough. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So there you have it. How to tell your boss you are pregnant. We do have an awesome freebie that really lays all of this out for you. If you'd like to get that, you can just pop below the video here and find that in the chat. We do have a spotlight course specifically on how do you prepare for your maternity leave before, during, and after.
And this lesson, which we've just given you kind of the high level, is the first lesson. Yes. But it takes you all the way through pregnancy, during your leave, and there's a lot that has to be worked out during your leave in terms of setting boundaries and setting the proper cadence for communications.
And there are a lot of shifts that happen for you in your values, in what matters most to you in your life during that maternity leave.
And then we also talk about returning to work and what systems you need to put in place. So that is, as Kelly said, a spotlight course. It's an inexpensive course that you take on your own. It's a fabulous course, and you can find information about that and everything we do at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.